You're a developer in 2026. You need an AI coding tool. That's not a question anymore. It's a baseline requirement for staying competitive and productive in a rapidly evolving landscape. The real question, the one that keeps developers up at night, which one won't slow you down? Which tool will actually accelerate your workflow? Which will just become another layer of frustrating abstraction between you and your code? We're going to answer that today. We're putting 3 of the biggest names in the game head-to-head in a no-holds-barred showdown. This isn't about marketing hype or shiny feature lists. Real code, real problems, real performance. Cursor, GitHub Copilot, Windsurf by Codeium. Let's get into the code and find out which one earns a permanent place in your stack. Meet the contenders. Show 3 spec cards side by side. Cursor, Copilot, Windsurf. Cursor isn't just a plugin. It's a complete AI-first code editor. A fork of VS Code. Familiar interface re-engineered to be deeply integrated with AI. Its killer feature, Codebase-wide context. Every file, every function, so it can do complex, multi-file edits and answer questions with awareness plugins struggle with. Built for the power user who wants AI woven into the editor. Next, the reigning champion, GitHub Copilot. If you've used an AI coding tool, it was probably this one, backed by Microsoft and OpenAI. Lives inside VS Code and JetBrains. Primary strength, seamless, lightning-fast inline completion. As you type, Copilot is right there with you, suggesting lines, functions, entire blocks of code. An unobtrusive pair programmer that enhances flow. Its simplicity is its power, making it the standard issue tool for millions of developers and countless organizations. Finally, Windsurf by Codeium, an aggressive up-and-comer. Strategy, generous free tier. Rules of engagement for our tests. Before we dive into the tests, we need to establish the ground rules. Fairness and repeatability are everything. A test is useless if it can't be trusted. For this comparison, every test is run on the exact same hardware. A 2025 MacBook Pro with an M4 Max chip and 64 gigabytes of unified memory. The project repository is reset to its original state before each and every test run. A moderately complex Next.js application with a Python backend. This ensures no tool benefits from artifacts left by a previous test. Consistency is king. We'll be scoring each tool 0 to 10 across 4 key metrics: speed, accuracy, context, usefulness. Speed, how quickly did the tool generate a response or complete the task? This includes the entire interaction, from prompt to usable code. Accuracy, how correct was the output? A tool that generates broken code quickly is worse than one that generates correct code slowly. This will be weighted heavily. Context, did it understand surrounding code, styles, names, architecture? Usefulness, how much time and effort did it actually save? A technically perfect suggestion that doesn't solve a real problem is just noise. For each head-to-head test, I perform the task with each tool, one after the other. I'll capture the entire process, from initial prompt or code context to the final working implementation. After each test, I'll display a scorecard, Cursor, Copilot, Windsurf. I will be decisive in my scoring. No ties for politeness. We're here to find a winner. Our first test is a classic everyday task, building a new React component. The specific task is to create a user profile card component. It needs to accept a user object as a prop. It needs to manage a simple loading state using the useState hook. It needs to fetch user details via a custom useUserData hook. First up, Cursor. I scaffolded function user profile card, user Cursor immediately proposed a large coherent block. It inferred useState for loading, found and correctly imported user data, and produced clean JSX with sensible loading and error placeholders. It ran on the first try with 0 modifications. Score, 8 out of 10. Next, GitHub Copilot. It built the component iteratively. useState, then useUserData, then JSX as I tabbed. It felt like a true pair programmer. Worked perfectly on first run. Score, 8 out of 10. Finally, Windsurf. It suggested a large block of code, but hallucinated a helper called format username. I had to remove it and patch manually. Speed was good, but the accuracy stumble cost time. Score, 7 out of 10. Final, Cursor and Copilot tied at 8, Windsurf at 7. On to the multi-file refactor. Now for a task that intimidates. A large-scale multi-file refactor. Rename a core utility used in 30-plus files. API routes, front-end components, back-end services. A simple find and replace is too dumb. We need an intelligent semantic refactor. Cursor stepped up. I highlighted the function and asked, rename this across the entire project. It found every usage, presented a clean diff view. I clicked apply. Done. All files updated correctly. No errors. Flawless. Score, 9 out of 10. GitHub Copilot isn't a project-wide refactoring engine. It pointed me to the IDE refactor tools. It could help file by file but not execute repo-wide. Score, 6 out of 10. Windsurf's Cascade searched usages and prepped edits. The process felt opaque, missed 2 deeply nested usages, and wrongly renamed an unrelated variable. About 80% done. The last 20% was messy. Score, 7 out of 10. Winner, Cursor by a mile for multi-file refactors. On to the Python bug hunt. Test 3, Python bug hunt. I seeded a subtle but critical bug in a renewal date calculator. In December, it rolls to month 13 instead of January next year, a classic off by 1. In Cursor, I asked, review this script for bugs, especially year-end edge cases. It found the bug, explained exactly why, and highlighted the problematic line. Proposed a correct modulo-based rollover fix. Score, 8 out of 10. Copilot first offered generic advice, error handling, type hints, but missed the logic bug. Only after I asked, what happens in December, did it surface the correct fix. Score, 6 out of 10. Windsurf's agent ran logical checks and flagged the date calc section. It proposed a correct conditional-based fix with less explanation, but no prompting needed. Score, 7 out of 10. Bug detection, Cursor 8, Windsurf 7, Copilot 6. Final test, chat with an unfamiliar repo. Use AI chat to get a high-level overview of the authentication flow. Question, how does auth work here? Where is the token stored and refreshed? Cursor's response was outstanding. Clear, step-by-step from login endpoint onward. Crucially, it linked directly to exact files and line numbers. JWT on the back end, stored in an HTTP-only cookie with a specific refresh function referenced. Score, 9 out of 10. Copilot's answer was good but less detailed, likely leaning on open file context and Next.js patterns. It suggested local storage or cookies without definitive line-specific pointers. Score, 7 out of 10. Windsurf scanned for auth, token, JWT, and produced a structured, sequence-like summary. It correctly identified middleware and API routes and the JWT library in use. Strong summary, but without Cursor's precise, clickable references. Score, 8 out of 10. Cursor leads the repo chat test. Let's roll up the scorecard. After 4 rigorous tests, the numbers are in. Let's look at the final scorecard. Autocomplete, Cursor 8, Copilot 8, Windsurf 7. Multi-file refactor, Cursor 9, Copilot 6, Windsurf 7. Bug detection, Cursor 8, Windsurf 7, Copilot 6. Repo chat, Cursor 9, Windsurf 8, Copilot 7. Cursor takes a clear lead in total points, but totals aren't the whole story. Cursor is the undisputed champion of deep code-based context. Refactors and repo chat are its playground. Treating the repository like working memory is its superpower. GitHub Copilot wins frictionless day-to-day coding with fast, smooth inline suggestions. It's the easiest to adopt across VS Code and JetBrains. Windsurf wins on value and agentic automation. It held its own and shows big promise for multi-step tasks. End of scorecard. Time for the verdict. Pricing as of March 26, 2026. Always check official sites. We calculate value per feature, speed gains, context depth, automation, and enterprise controls. Solo Dev ROI, maximize time saved in the core typing loop. Team ROI, weigh refactor and onboarding savings versus subscription cost. Enterprise ROI, security, compliance, policy control, non-negotiables for large orgs. Best ROI for solo devs, Copilot. Best ROI for teams depends on needs. Copilot for velocity, Cursor for complex code bases. Best value pick, Windsurf, especially for budget-conscious devs leaning on agents. It's not about the best overall. It's about what's best for you. Solo Dev Freelancer, GitHub Copilot. Fast, reliable inline speedups that add hours back every week. Startup, Copilot for rapid iteration. Choose Cursor if your pain is growing complexity and big refactors. Enterprise, Copilot. Integration with Microsoft GitHub. Security and policy make it the safe standard. Cursor is the deep context specialist. Copilot is the reliable integrated workhorse. Windsurf is the high-value automation challenger. Which tool are you using right now, and why? Drop your choice in the comments. I read all of them. If this breakdown helped, get subscribed for more no-fluff deep dives. Cursor versus Copilot versus Windsurf. The battle for the best AI coding assistant starts now, with you making the call.